Hello everybody, this is Asal, and today we're going to be going over everything that you will need to know about Commander Mode in Battlefield 4. So Commander Mode is basically you, the player, taking command of an entire team in Battlefield 4. So say you have a 64 player game and 32 players on each team. One player from each of those teams can elect to be the commander, and that basically gives them an overview of the whole map, and they can call in artillery strikes, they can give ammo, they can drop vehicles, they can do scans, all sorts of stuff. Basically, none of it is essential to winning the game, but if you have a good commander, it will really help out your team and can really make or break the battle. So you can be the commander from your computer with your mouse and keyboard, and that is all fine and well. But one of the things that I am really looking forward to is the fact that DICE is adding the ability to command from a tablet. So yeah, you could sit at your computer and use your tablet with the touchscreen, and that would be a lot easier and more convenient. But the reason that I am really looking forward to this is that you can command from a tablet wherever you may be, work, school, wherever, bus stop. If you have a tablet and internet connection, you will be able to command games of Battlefield 4. Now, the reason I'm looking forward to this is I'm sure you have been in this situation when you have wanted to play Battlefield, but you are not in a position to do that. But now you can have a tablet and you can just command. I mean, it's not really playing Battlefield, but it is really the next best thing. So the commander has a few abilities at their disposal, the first of which is the UAV scan. Basically what this is it allows the commander to select an area, and it will ping all enemy units on the minimap, and it will also 3D spot them. So if your team is assaulting an objective, you can throw down a scan so they can get an idea of what's going on. Really, the possibilities for this are limitless, and I think it will be infinitely useful in games when you have a commander. So the next ability that we are going to look at is the EMP UAV. Now, essentially this is the exact opposite of a UAV. Instead of showing enemies on your team's minimap, it will make your team invisible on the minimap, and they will also be immune to 3D spotting for a set period of time. So this ability could have a few uses. First of all, say your team gets a UAV scan dropped on them. You could then in turn drop a UAV EMP onto your team, which would make them invisible again, and it does actually counteract the effects of that initial UAV scan. Also, another great use for this is say your team is assaulting an objective. You could drop an EMP scan on your team, making them invisible to the enemy, and as you can imagine, being attacked by invisible people is not a lot of fun, so that would be highly advantageous to your team if they were invisible to spotting and the minimap. Now the commander does have one last scanning ability, and that is a scanner sweep that goes across the entire map, lighting up all enemies on the map. Now, this is just for the commander, and only the commander can see those enemies, so basically it just kind of gives him an idea as to what's going on, where he should scan, where he should EMP, and basically how the battle is going and what his next course of action should be. So next we have some more location-based abilities. So when I say location-based, I mean you need to control an objective in order to use these. Now, those two abilities are the Tomahawk cruise missile and the gunship. Now, the Tomahawk cruise missile, basically, if you control an objective, you can fire a Tomahawk cruise missile on something within that objective. Say the enemy comes in with a tank, you can fire a cruise missile on that tank. Now the missile does seem like it takes a very long time to arrive, so timing this looks like it will be tricky, so I don't think it will be overpowered by any means, and not to mention you already need to control the objective. There is also an ability, and this is the gunship. Now the gunship, the AC-130, is back from Battlefield 3, and it is essentially the same thing. You call it in and it will circle that objective, but it doesn't do anything. Your teammates need to actually get in the gunship and utilize it. But the gunship is back from Battlefield 3, and that is something that we all know, and I'm sure we either hate it or we love it, depending on what experiences we have had with it. So one of the newer commander abilities that we have learned about are the high value targets. Now what these are is if a player gets on a kill streak of 6 or higher, the enemy team's commander can choose to reveal them on the minimap as a high value target. So basically everyone on the enemy team will be able to see you. Okay, now I know this sounds kind of unfair and it almost seems like a punishment for doing well. DICE has made it very clear in the article that they do not want it to feel like a punishment, but rather something to be proud of. So I'm sure they will balance this accordingly and it won't feel like a death sentence. One thing to also keep in mind is that the high value target will fade over time and you will not remain spotted for the rest of your life. Also, another way you could survive is if you have a good commander. He could actually just put an EMP UAV on you, making you invisible. So essentially this kind of opens up some areas where the commanders can battle each other and try to outmaneuver each other. Also, do remember that all of the commander abilities are on a cooldown, so none of these will be able to be spammed. You won't be getting tomahawk missiled every 30 seconds. They do have a cooldown, and I believe they will be balanced accordingly, and if not, that is what a beta is for. Now lastly, the commander will be able to call in ammo and vehicle drops. Now we don't really know a whole lot about this, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but we do know that those abilities will exist. Now you might ask, what if I have a bad commander? Well, in order to be a commander, you must be at least rank 10, so that is one safeguard against having a level 1 come in and start commanding. But the more important safeguard is the mutiny function. Basically, if your commander is doing a poor job, you can start a mutiny, and then they have a few minutes to kind of get their act together, but if not, then they're out of there and a new commander comes in. Now when a new commander comes in, they can't be mutinied against right away because they're new. Give them a few minutes, but basically that safeguard is in place, so if there is a bad commander, you can get him out of there if you don't want him there. So guys, that just about wraps up today's video on Battlefield 4's Commander Mode. If you have liked this video, please feel free to leave a rating. I really do appreciate that, and it really does help me out. So guys, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.